I have a big problem with Amazing Digital Circus. So we finally ended, and I really liked the end. Even if it had his problems, were nice, and his matches were pretty nice, and it fits pretty well everything that were presented before. But still, I have some issues with this so far. At least with this, for what I understand of the series, it's more oriented on the way of what makes the human, the characters, and facing the situations and whatsoever, and looking at the future. Yeah, dear. Dear, we're all on that page, right? But for what writing is, they sacrifice some themes to focus on this stuff, which were a good decision at some extent, because they were a good way to focus on the principal point and on the message of the series. And with this, you could get a nice climate with a little time they have. But sadly, for the thing that were left out seems odd. And since they were not the principal focus and they don't having just holes and being weird. For example, there were some points that seems to be left behind just because, yes. So you're gonna draw the representation of all of it, that I believe they never explain what we're seeing and doing, the characters that we left behind like nothing, and the things that makes no sense with the plot of everyone being digital copies. And before the video starts to explore this, I'm just gonna add the video. It's just gonna explore these little things that were left out, and just gonna pretend what this could be or whatsoever, and rant about it. It's really not that deep. I'm not gonna do a super analysis of it. So yeah, because we're on this point, it's a representation of the twist that she ate some broccoli. I don't know, something like that. And it's just a video on a way of just commenting about it. I hate digital circus. I'm just gonna look at and share these points that bother me. So yeah, my first point, CNA, because this thing have no fucking sense on any way. Seeing they have no sense, it seems that even they changed the purpose of this whole company in the middle of the project. First, when they present this company to us in the first chapter, it seems they were going to be the villains or the one behind it all in a more directed way than just collateral damage. They say that they tell us that this is the creators of Kane and all of the circus by consequence, but this makes no sense. They later in the final explained to us that they wanted to take some information from the cafeteria and the internet and blah blah blah, and this is what the kind of the brain scans of the people come. But this will have any kind of sense as why would you create Kane such a super advanced technology for the purpose of recopiling data? I mean, makes no sense. They make Kane has a real human. They give him personality, they give him emotion, they give him a will, the capability of creating his own worlds and programming himself, making him the own god of his own world. And just all of this for recopiling data makes no sense. Makes no sense. It seems that it was just forgotten in the middle of the project that they had to solve that too. There's nothing or any kind of knowledge that we have about this company doing, only that they were technology and programmation producers, I don't know. And why they wanted these brain scans, no idea. Why they made Kane has such an advanced AI, no idea. And why if it was supposed to be a AI that were supposed to have to be a secretary and recopilate data, why will they make it on a creative way? That have no sense. If King were created by being imaginative and having his own pain and doing I don't know what we're expecting King to do, it seems that maybe we make a mistake and this story do not explain it very well, but maybe this is what actually happened, that they first wanted to do something creative, and that's why they created Cake. But later, the plans of the whole project have changed, and later they made the blue AI that was more logical and more capable. And this is what we see at the end, that the whole power and the whole abilities of Kane were a cause of this blue AI that he absorbed. But it still but it still feels a little off, all of this. And something I want to ask here is, can you explain me if the whole company is still running or not? I mean, if the whole company is still running, why nobody ever did something about Kane? I mean, the whole project was directed onto Kane. The whole team were happening because of him. And the creator should be aware that he consumed the other AI and take possession of it. I believe they will have done anything but let him 20 years do whatever he wants and whenever he wants it. Makes no any kind of sense. You might think that maybe the whole thing was just Kane running his things under the shadows, but still will make no sense, because even so, we know that Kane created abysmal, immense, I don't know, the most bigger project that you always think. King created games in hours or seconds, I don't know. He created the programmation, the NPCs, the art direction, the music, the sounds, the everything just by himself in time of hours or days. And you tell me the directors of the people using this computer never noticed? Never just did something like, the whole project is like behaving very strange. I don't know, maybe we should let him do whatever he wants. I don't think so. This seems very strange. Or why, if this was still running, why they have such an old technology? I mean, we saw that they still have the computer that they use on the 19th, even if we're on 2017. That makes no sense. But still, it will make a little sense, and we saw that the computer have no any kind of DOS or spiderweb or any signal that that time have passed on the company. But if we saw the other side of it, on the side that the company is not running, is not working anymore, how then these 20 years, the computer had power this whole time without any kind of problem or anything like that? They have been like 20 years on the circus and almost like 17 people on the circus, I believe. I'm not sure if they are wearing characters that they're in count, but at least one person per year. So that means that this Kane is still receiving information almost every year. Or wait, no, there were like 6 people on the first day that were already on the data, that were the co-workers of CNA. So around 11 people were on the circus. That means at least 2 people per year, that will say. So that will mean that the project is still ongoing and they are still receiving data from this cafeteria internet. But how then? I mean, they literally explained to us that King have a limited access to the internet, so he will not have the ability to just check the information daily just to recompile the whole information. And this is little detail I'm gonna explain it later on my next point, but yeah, keep that on mind. But yeah, if the company is not working anymore, how the computer still have not any kind of problem, I mean, it should be on the piles of dust at this point after 20 years and not even a single damage we saw. The computer is even still clean. We saw that it still reflects on the mirror of the computer. I mean, it's so strange. It has no sense in any kind of way you see it. I mean, there's no why they created Kane. There's no why, even if they're working or not. I mean, the show was that Kinger is still like working on programmation and all of that, and then Kinger is still being a nomad. But any kind of hint of what this company is doing. I mean, it just seemed that the whole thing, the whole circus, the whole situation of Ken and all of that, just where it goes, yes. So yeah, I'm going to go to my next point, which is I believe is worse. Worse than you will think, at least worse for me. Everyone being just digital copies of themselves. Everyone just being copies of the real people made the whole plot feel just like so weak. I mean, let me ask you something, as I said before. How they have the access to the whole information of the people to make their brain scans? I mean, I don't believe that they were frequent on the cafeteria the whole time. I mean, for example, they explained to us with Jack that Jack only spent like, I don't know, maximum a week walking around the city and alone without doing anything with his life. So really that was the whole time necessary to came to the whole corporation to make a complete scan of his person and put it on the computer. And the same goes for everyone, because at this point it will have to be like super specific. And that will explain what there are in that much people in the circus, but still I believe there should be at least just one people in the circus, aside from the obvious co-workers of the company that they seem that they have offered their own information in first point to help the project go on. But aside from this, I really don't think there should be any kind of human. I mean, I don't believe they have the whole information. I don't believe you will go to a coffee shop and go like, oh my god, imagine Ragazza, oh my god, mom, look, today was so wild. I feel like I wanna spray myself. Today I feel like 2 meters high. My blood type is O positive. I went to school for like 20 years in Oklahoma. I went to Hawaii the last year. I mean, I don't believe this is how it goes. I believe it's maximum Jagata where, I don't know, seeing TikToks. TikTok to know this is where when Ragata entered the circus, but you can imagine this. And you will say like maybe we saw that Kane is such a sophisticated AI and such advanced technology, and maybe they could refill the holes that were created with our more limited knowledge of the person. But still, I believe there's things you can assume. Maybe you can assume that by the behavior of a person, she can react like this or have this kind of line of thought or whatsoever. But I won't think that will be possible that you can magically guess that. I believe this person have go to Paris the last year on the day of 2nd October at the hours of. I don't believe that's possible in any kind of circumstances. It just feels very off. I don't believe, no matter what kind of technology they had at the moment, they should have something very specific. They require something very specific from a person to work on this. And something else I want to add here is like how the whole abstraction thing just feels like a nonsense in the whole thing. I mean, before maybe it's just like something more mythical, I don't know, more like a symbol of it, but yeah, I'm not super convinced of that. I mean, they never even explain the abstraction itself. We never saw someone get abstracted, not even Jax. I mean, let me ask you, what makes you abstract? You want to say maybe that you get as much stress, that you got crazy, that you lost any kind of sense, and everything will be right because they never explained it as I said before. But something that I will say is like, if everyone are just basically NPCs and just digital copies, why can't you just redo all of the information? I mean, I will always have the hope that everyone was real people trapped on the circus because it will make a lot of sense. If the people in the real world starts a brain damage of fallen despair or goes crazy or something like that, the whole brain will show this data in such an erratic way that his body on the circus will be damaged and for its consequence will get abstract, and this will be irreversible since there's no any kind of way that the people of the circus can go out and repair his brain and help him out. But if they are just digital copies of recompiled information, they just feel like they literally can redo anytime any kind of a person that get distracted. I mean, you will say maybe it's because they lost all of the information, maybe they lost all of his memories and all of that. We know that's a lie. We saw that the whole information is still there, just that they can express it in any kind of sense. We saw through Jax in the last chapter that his whole memories, his whole personality is still there. I mean, it's just like they go crazy. It's like a real person when they go crazy. Their whole life is still there. Their whole memories is still alive. The whole line of thinking is still there. The beliefs and to see. But this seems more cruel. It seems that they had the possibility to help him out, but just left him to feel like that. I mean, we know that Kane have access to the whole computer whenever he wanted and whoever he wanted. Even if they deny the possibility of Kane to enter or see certain information, but Kane does not have the limited accessibility to the people's mind or whatsoever, without hanging on people's mind a lot of times, without any kind of restriction. So are you just telling me that Kane, well, not even Kane, the whole people in the circus already have a moderator protocol system on? I don't know. They have the creative mode on them, like the microphone. They're admins. They just let these whole people, I believe there were like 16 people or like 13 people that got struck, just to let behaving like animals, hurting themselves, going around, and losing any kind of sense, losing his ability to communicate or even recognize themselves as their own individuals. Are you saying me that was a happy ending? Are you saying me this was the best option? I mean, they literally just could delete Kane, I don't know, delete Jax, take the whole information to a new Jax, and just ta-da, Jax is back. You may think that maybe he will be like a new Jax, it will not be the same, it will not have the same memories, it will have the old memories from his life, but not from the circus, and the whole time we spent together was for nothing. And I believe this will be a good point even, because this will make the whole people of the circus have a new opportunity with Jax or whatsoever. But even if we saw that part, it's still alive because we see again through Jack's memories that he still have his whole memories of the circus, so that will be a totally bullshit. And no, all the people who died, the people we lost, it just feels like more than a torture that a real loss. And actually, since I am on this part of the people we lose, why the hell there were like 4 people that were left out of this painting that they did at the end of the circus of everyone that got distracted? I mean, there was like these Shelly people, this Pinky, I don't know, one-eyed person, this ribbon person, and this other one that looks like a sad clown. They never had made any kind of mention, they just totally forgot about him. It just makes him feel even worse for these people. And with this, I'm gonna go to my next point, and it's what the hell happened with these characters. I mean, do you remember Kaufmo? It seems like they wanted to do something with Kaufmo, that they tell us that Kaufmo had found something big, maybe an exit or something like that. And later they tell us that, oh no, suddenly he said that there's no any kind of way out or there's no exit or whatsoever. So what happened there? What did he find out? What did he find out that make him got struck and what? No. He just a character support that support Jax. Or maybe we can explore how she got isolated by everyone after Jax pushed her away and no, she's just a character that we created See, just a character that were created for for Jackets. Maybe we could meet the whole people on the circus that were working on CNA, the first group of humans, and through them we could see, no, they are just there to fill numbers. Or maybe these people that were on the circus before that Ragata knew, that Kinger knew too, maybe then could have found, no, they are just there to fill numbers. Not even in the photo. I understand that they do not appear in the last photo of everyone being there and they meet each other, but that just feels pretty bad to leave these whole people aside. I mean, and not even just them. I mean, I believe that all of the people have the same feeling of all the other people of the circus. Like, I see a lot of people saying that Ragata, for example, needed her own chapter to learn more of herself. I believe that most of the fandom agree that Subul needs more spotlight. I mean, we never saw Subul and Pomni talk to each other, I believe. Nothing like, hey, you okay? Yeah. It seems just like there was so much that we could see of these characters, but they just like leave it aside. I mean, let me put you an example of how this was a big failure. I mean, let me put an example. Kane, we suppose that he has his own development. We saw him through the whole series, how he was growing hate towards human and whatsoever. And later he explodes on the chapter 8, later he redeems on chapter 9. Yeah. But can I remind you something that they never clear of Kane, for example? Their full hate towards humans since his own creation. I mean, Kane were created on the first day he was created just for being an assistant, and we know that later when he was locked down, he was very conscious and he was still aware, and we know he was capable of getting free of his own self, which means he was free and awake this whole time, just seeing how his creators replaced him. And on chapter 8, he tells us you humans always insist on tormenting me, on making me suffer and whatsoever. So maybe we could say that since the people of this DNA that created Kane, they condemn it to a whole eternity of suffer for something that he never asked. This could have been something great for Kane's character since for example, imagine that Kane on the last chapter was more, maybe I feel pretty sad since they did this to me in the past and I was so sad and angry for that for years, and now I am doing that with my own creations, so maybe I am just bad as them. And this could have been something very nice for Kane's development, but no, he was just like, I'm sorry, it's this blue AI that makes me think so bad. I swear I'm a good boy. And it's not like saying that Kane was bad or just a waste. I really like Kane, I love him, he's my favorite character. But I still believe there was so much potential in all of these characters that we never saw or was just like left out to the imagination. And it's something I really want to say, like the other parts, like this little inconsistency on the people being digital copies of themselves, or like if the CNA is real or not, or still working or whatsoever. Because when you asked to me, this was the whole point of the series, talking about the characters and their development, and if their development and their own situations were left out and cut out, it just starts to fall out very quickly. I mean, the whole series is fine. I will say the writing is so beautiful, I really like the end, but this whole inconsistency just makes me feel like very uneasy to see all this. For example, if we saw more of Rivet, that she had her own spotlight on chapter 9, we just saw that her whole personality was being Jack's friend. Literally on the only moment that she was opening herself and explaining more of her past and her life, and all of his parents that were Mormons, and this literally was her worst mistakes on life, opening up with Jax. And the same with Cowboy. Explain me a little about Cowboy. We know that he likes to do jokes. He's yellow. He's a clown. He's a man. Nothing else than that. The same that I explained to you on the start of this point, that maybe he was supposed to have a major role, but they just cut it out. I mean, I know you could say that the same happened with him, that to prove me that with these little powers they have of creating stuff, he created by accident this exit door, and then he couldn't do it again, and this is why he fell on this spear. But the thing happened with Pomni, which is pretty weird, because if this happened to Pomni, she should have become abstract first than Kaufman, because she was new, she didn't know what was happening, and she only saw the exit several times, including get an exit. And know that Kaufman worked for the circus for years, even before Jax were on the circus. He got abstract because he couldn't find a door that he might go to imagine it, or something that he never interact with. It's pretty strange. And something that I wanna put as a little point, half point on the end, is about Jax. Yeah. And before you say, no, I don't hate Jax, I know he's a nice school, but I don't really hate like young people, like teens or whatsoever. I know because of his edgy behavior and all that, he basically killed 2 people, Cove won't repeat. And he was very close to kill more people like Pony or Ragata. So yeah. I know that they had a problem with Jax that because the whole thing that happened on the movie, that they could have explained a lot of stuff, but they focus on Jax, like this totally unnecessary scenes of how Jax see the people was like, okay. I really like this scene of Jax behaving like a Looney Tunes, like that was all balls. I don't know. But aside from that, what was the need of saying that Jax and Gang will have some intimate time? Or why putting Jax's abstraction has something so important and so big, and later when this happened, it was just to Pomni's testimony, just like, yeah, that happened, we all know about that. And later making it super important, like out of nowhere, is like, bro, you just don't ignore this part before, and later make it important again. You just feel like very inconsistent. But yeah, I believe that should be all of these points. I mean, I know I've been like hating and trauma dumping over Digital Circus for, I don't know, like 20 minutes at this point, but I just really need it, okay? I mean, I need it. And if you saw that maybe I've been talking different this time from my other videos, it's because half of this project is for me making me talk better. As you may notice, I have some talking issues, but yeah. And before you say, no, you're just a hater of Digital Circus, I really like the end. I cry with the ends. I was like, yeah, we are all friends. I cry and sob when, and the final they put Pony, that he was like saying goodbye to the audience. It was like, bye Pony, I will miss you Pony. Wow, sayonara gome. Wow, but no, I mean, I know the circus has its problems, but I believe are just more little details and more of my personal opinion. Science has to say before, 2 of them are just like weak spots that were left out in benefits of their own on their principal climax, and then the plot on the whole message, on the whole series. So I really don't have a problem with that. So yeah, I believe that should be all of this. Thank you for showing me my stuff and for uploading video like a month ago. And happy Pride, my gay people, my lesbians, my bisexuals, my, I don't know, slay queen.